Broadcast live.
How you doing, Mr. Khaya?
I'm fantastic, my brother. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for officially baptizing me and breaking my virginity. This is my first interview with a gospel artist,
wow.
you know.
I'm privileged for
You know?
that. That's dope. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You know?
I always watch your interviews. I follow you. I'm always like, I want to be on that show, but how can I ever get on that show?
Listen, SABC came through. We're like, okay, you know, we're not on the internet anymore. I get on the internet, it's like you must know your place.
Sure,
You can't be
sure.
everywhere because you'll
I'm
be
with you.
lost.
I'm
You
with
know what
you.
I mean?
I'm with you.
But this is SABC. Shout out there, everything for everyone. So, you know.
Love it.
I asked myself, you know, the gospel artists,
Sure.
they either come from a joyous celebration or for win a competition on a TV show. I just need to remember, were you a winner of a TV show?
Absolutely.
Wow. So that,
And joyous celebration. Let's put it that way.
was it Idols?
Yes, sir.
Damn. Did you win?
I think so.
Do you feel like you're winning now? Do you feel like you're winning now?
So it's somewhere in the peripheral of my memory 10 years ago. Let's say, 2022. Yeah, 10 years ago, literally.
It's like that seems, unless you're an older person,
Sure.
it seems like young gospel artists always come out from those realms, you know? Isn't there almost like a sort of like a space for young gospel artists to be found, you know?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like up and coming gospel artists to be found.
Sure.
Besides like a Sontweni.
Yeah, I think, sure, I've never thought of that. But I think you've analyzed the situation so well. Like most of us do come from those platforms like Joyous and or singing competitions, stuff like that. But so I started like being a backing vocalist, you know what I mean? Like you backing vocals people. So some people come out of that and they release a single. If that single does well, then they can come in. But there is no space where people can they can develop and be given platforms or allowed other ways of doing it. Maybe it's like one of the people that was backing me, I'd bring them onto a track, you know what I mean? Then they feature on the album, and then from there, it takes them to the next level. But you're absolutely right. I don't think there's really a way or a platform that's been created for people to really come up unless they take that joyous route or that singing competition route.
Wow. That's limited, right?
Highly limited. It's actually, I need to do something about that. That's actually quite crazy.
Oh, wow. I know I'd make money if I got involved.
You already seeing the money?
My piano, sharp. My piano, like
You would make that money, let me tell you
But in
the
gospel, ever since I've been making music, no fail. No fail.
There's cash. There's a bit of cash.
Yeah, I mean, there's more. It's consistent.
Absolutely.
The gospel money is consistent.
Absolutely.
Everyone can make, but the gospel money is consistent if you keep on. I feel even new Dr. Rebecca's like, out to retire, nigga, man. She's like,
34 albums later.
yeah, it's like, After Dr. Rebecca Malope used to literally do pop music, she did one gospel album, I'm like, yeah, I want swag rather than go chase,
Straight up.
I mean, what was the choice for you? You came in young, and why gospel? It's easy for you to kind of like go different ways,
Sure.
because you came in young, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You had other options of singing love songs consistently.
Absolutely. I think for me, it's my upbringing, the church upbringing, I couldn't shake it off, you know what I mean? Like it was entrenched in my, in my heart, in my soul, in my spirit. It's the air I breathe, you know what I mean? Like singing worship music at church, playing the guitar, playing piano, writing songs for the church. That's been the ecosystem that I come from. And so when I wanted to really come out of that, when I was on the singing competition, obviously I didn't sing a single gospel song on the competition. And then when I came out, I released an R&B album that had Move and all these other tracks, which was cool. After that album, I was like, no, man. I'm going back to that thing.
Yeah.
And I went back and it exploded really from there.
Yeah. Did you feel that and this is why I said I'm excited because, I can ask these questions
Sure.
that are generic, but I think we all ask. But isn't there like a pressure when especially you being young? See, I mean, for me, like I was saying, Dr. Rebecca has been old even when I was young.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but like young people like you younger than me, you could like even be close to being my
Sure.
peer to a certain extent. What is the pressure of actually, like, the perception of you holier than thou? You know what I mean? Gospel, why yenza so? Or this happens in your life, why would this happen in your life?
Sure.
How do you balance the pressure and present yourself, Guti? I sing gospel, yes, it is my belief, but I'm a human being at the same time.
I think you've hit the nail, like you've hit the nail on the head right there. There has to be a sense of being real. I'm very real. You know, I've made mistakes openly. You know, people know my mistakes. People have seen things that I've done. Some I'm not proud of, really, to be honest. And my love for God and the relationship for that is not convoluted by that. You know what I mean? Like, if God accepts me as I am, how much more human beings? Why shouldn't we not accept each other as we are? Do you know what I mean? So I believe that people that hold us accountable at that level are highly flawed themselves. And so they're projecting their flaws over people that are struggling. And just because you could see my flaw, and I've never seen yours, it's easy for you to hammer me or to come after me, say, hey, you're not practicing what you're preaching. You know what I mean? So I think as a man, as a human, but also as a Christian, there's always that struggle between what I want and what I know is right. You know what I mean? Like what I feel I should be doing and against what I know I should be doing. You know what I mean? And it's living your life openly to say, look, I'm struggling in these areas, and I'm hoping to get better. I think that's the best Christian life to live, rather than one that is holier than thou, because you will fail. And when you fail, the fall will be very hard.
Have you ever been to a club? I know it's a stupid
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A couple of times. Many a times.
I ain't seen a gospel guy in a club. I ain't seen a guy. I'm being honest.
Many a times.
But do you hide when you're in a club?
Well, I put on a cap. And I'm always in black.
So they don't see you.
Exactly.
Has anybody in the club recognized
Absolutely.
you? And they were shocked and
the worst people are the waiters.
Did the driver so fake? How come the seller
That's funny.
That's so funny. But so how do you even deal with those in that environment? Because there it's live, it's happening.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And like I said, you young, you know, you gotta live your life. You came in the game early, you know. You have encounters like that. So there's the judgmental, and then there's also the social. You know what I mean? It's like in that environment, how do you give people comfort? You know, I mean, I would imagine if I was in the club and they saw me and I was you, I'd literally like pull the girl and literally like dance with her and pray with her while I'm dancing with her. I just need to know, how do you fix the situation?
To be honest with you, like my friends, we have a good time. You know what I mean? Like I love having a good time. And I believe in that. I've had my fair share of going out, clubbing, drinking, whatever. And with time, I mean, I'm 36 now. With time, you then begin to make decisions. That stuff was good then. Now I'm good. You know what I mean? I don't, even when I see people on the gram going, there's nothing that says, oh, FOMO. You know, I wish I was there. No, I lived that life. I had fun, you know what I mean? Like, it was good, you know what I mean? Like, socializing, growing up, I got to do what I wanted to do and got to discover myself without, and whether people were judging me there or not, look, dude, what can I do? You know what I mean? That's where I was, and yeah, I'm happy I got to experience that life.
Yeah, and even when people are posting on Instagram, you're like, as in, niphile ku-Facebook le live lena ngoba nina seyikezekile ku-Instagram akusho ukuthi esinganamafeature ku-Facebook you've got a new album out also, and you've got a couple of live albums, you know. What keeps you going, and what is the message? I mean, I don't know whether, like, even the writing process of when you start writing, do you feel more that goes, okay, words, how do you even start the writing? You know?
Sure. Look, for me, my artistic process really is life. You know what I mean? Like, interesting enough.
By the way, the album is called
Art and Worship. Art and Worship, yeah. So it's Art and Worship. So I'm really, on this album, I'm celebrating the last 10 years of being in the industry. But for me, telling the story of the last 3 years of my life, you know, and hardcore struggles, going through divorce, that breakup was hard for me, you know what I mean? And it had me realize, you know what I mean? Like I'd have people like walk up to me in the mall or at the airport saying, "Ngamshiya kanjani umfazi wakho ukholwa?" You know what I mean? Like, so people can really poke at that, and I don't blame them, so to speak. You know what I mean? But
but yeah, carry on.
you know, but what?
But it's difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, just the separation of.
No, it's hard.
And you don't need people reminding you.
No, it's hard. It's hard. You know what I mean? And people don't know that you're crying yourself to sleep. People don't know that you're back to drinking again. People don't know. They don't know all those struggles. You know, they want you to show up and they want you to deliver what you have to deliver, and you go back to your little hole after that. So this record, I never used to listen to my own music. I hate it. But I can listen to this album because I get to relive those moments. I can explain every single song on that album to a moment, exact moment. I can explain a song I wrote at the divorce court. I can explain a song I wrote struggling do I still want to go to church? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like having real struggles about am I real? Is this thing real? You know what I mean? Like, moments with my son, you know what I mean? Like, I've got so many moments on this record, and it's really the artistry of who I am, I believe, came out, and the writing process comes from real life stories. So I've written an artistic worship album. So it's not like we worship the Lord, we praise the Lord. That's beautiful, but it's really like there have been times where I thought I could never make it out the dark. I've had nights longer than I thought I could survive. So, but I'm writing that to God. Do you know what I mean? Like, so my artistic process has really been a storytelling one. And I'm hoping that it can resonate and they can find themselves somewhere, find a line, find a chorus, find something that, you know, that can speak to your soul. You know what I mean?
Your whole career, when they talk God, they can tell you what God is. But it's almost like there was the one time when the gravity of your spirituality had to be challenged.
Absolutely.
And everything that you were saying, it was like, it's nice to say it when things are good. Let's see what it's like. Will you still call me God?
Yes, sir.
When you are going through this?
Yes, sir. Yeah, look, when the rubber hits the road, that's the only time the truth in us is tested. You know what I mean? When everything is well and everything is hunky-dory, it's easy. Do you know what I mean? You can live that life like this. But what makes me a Christian today is because I've made a decision. You know what I mean? And that decision changed everything for me. And making the decision in the struggles to say that I still choose to live this life, no matter how kunje.
Because you said it in the beginning, you said you were raised in a religious ecosystem.
Yeah.
That is your privilege.
Yeah.
But like when that's broken,
yeah,
you know, do you still want to be there?
You yourself as a man, it was easy as a teenager. Now I've got my own house, I've got my own thing, my whole life. You know what I mean? What legacy am I raising my son in? You know, that's what I'm living for now.
Yeah.
Being an example to him. I want him to look at me. There mustn't be a discrepancy between who I am at church and who I am at home. You know what I mean? So I've been working to bring those two people together.
I always go like, when you feel something is divine, like a marriage or like being connected with somebody, it's almost like you question what is divine, you know, and it challenges your decision making and your validation of. Sometimes you can be confident of your decisions, but you then start questioning your own decisions, whether can I actually make the right decisions on what's divine?
Wow. If what I thought was divine ends up breaking up, that's hectic, dude.
Because obviously, besides that, it's the whole. I always go, it's the whole of self that you're literally trying to get out of. Because yes, you know, we go, me and you, we human beings. You could have your own reasons. Sure. But But me, I'm the one that invested the faith.
Yes, sir.
I'm the one that invested the confidence. And how do you literally like let God start control? Because it's almost like it feels like you go realize that it was my ego thinking that I got it, but like I actually never let God.
Correct. I've realized now that you cannot live a life of faith on your own. It was never designed like that. It's impossible. it's impossible ukuyibambela impilo yakho. It's impossible to think that you're going to have it all together all the time. If your hope is not in God, or if you have not placed your trust, as you're saying, in Him, when it is tested, you will fail. You know what I mean? The nice thing that if your trust is in God, when you are tested and you fail in Him. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the beauty of it, is that I've relegated the responsibility of trying to live this life. Because let me tell you something, like, for me, there's nothing good in me. I know what I'm capable of. You know what I mean? I know what because of the mistakes I've made, I know what Khaya is capable of. And it's a blessing to see me progress, and I know that I've got nothing to do with it. It's absolutely something divine that's inspiring that kind of life.
That's incredible, man. I can understand that. It's just that it's like, but God, you give me this to be comfortable in, but have I become arrogant with with me being comfortable with it?
Wow.
That now you are taking it, and or at least you are saying it must move, or things must change. You know, it's that thing where you say, how do you constantly balance faith of like God's faith and your faith? But God literally spoils you and gives you things at times that you think will never leave.
Sure.
You know, and that really that's the dilemma we have in life. You know, and you then start using God's name for you having it. You know, you've got this wife, these kids, like, God gave me this car, God gave. Then, like, you know,
things happen.
Then things happen. You know, then whatever. God, what are you doing? God, yeah, God damn it. You go from God to God damn it. You know? I mean, I think the one question is, and maybe you might have answered, is, as you progress now as Khaya, and I think even your fans want to know this. I mean, ngiyazi sabantu besintu and kakhulu abazali bethu nabantu who look up to us. Ukuhlukana nama-divorce is not some things that, like, they like hlala. You know, if you had to explain your decision, and you had to explain mostly how are you finding your new light, and how are you fixing your way, even yourself, you know, how would you, if you had the opportunity to kind of explain that? It's difficult when you're going through it and someone meets you, how are you going to leave your wife? But right now, if you had to just, and not that you owe people an explanation, if there's been one thing recurring in your mind to kind of go, I wish I could tell you guys this, you know, and make it about you, not about your relationship. What are you doing? What's the work that's happening that you are in control of, and the work that God is controlling right now inside you?
I think the most important thing, what I've learned, to be honest with you, in the last couple of years, is that I have to own up to my mistakes completely, and stop blaming people, stop blaming the other person. I must take responsibility for my actions. It's only then that I'm really going to be free and really grow, because for as long as I'm living a life of denial, Mang should have done that, so-and-so didn't do that, what didn't I do? You know what I mean? And it's really been for me personally, it's like owning my role and owning my mistakes, and going back to people I've wronged and saying, I'm sorry, I did that. You know what I mean? Like, I've grown leaps and bounds because of that, of just owning that. And then the next thing that I have to do is then forget about it. Live like it's never happened, and not be chained to it, and consistently be walking around dragging this chain. And so I've gone through that process now of owning my mistakes, and I'm well in the stage where I've let go, and I have an amazing relationship with Oye's mom. We're really good. We've got an amazing child, and our focus is raising that boy. You know what I mean? Like, and being happy individuals. You know what I mean? Respect each other. You know, that's the most important thing. Ultimately, life has to move on, and in its moving on, it moves on with great memories still with that person.
And I think what you said is very key. It's like, empilweni is very less, so a mistake, but skulisa umntwana who can be better than us.
Absolutely.
Also. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
People forget that like we are parents too. Like our parents were parents, they had mistakes. Our kids will have mistakes that we don't see also, and their kids, you know. And that's the whole thing about life. I always tell people, be careful of like of rebuking sin, especially if that sin is supposed to make you who you need to be, you know, because you only find God on the other side if you literally like are completely yourself in the worst situations, not in the best situations. So don't rebuke sin. I'm not encouraging you to go sin. I'm just saying don't rebuke sin, especially other people's sin, because that's even judgment. Don't rebuke sin. Sin literally only brings us closer to our God and brings us closer to our destiny. You know, I think I need to start a gospel. I mean, for a first gospel interview, this is a 10 out of 10. Come on. My brother Khaya, thanks for joining us on the Unplug. He's going to give us an awesome show. And man, thanks for being open and having this conversation with us.
It's a privilege for me. Thank you for having me.
Shout out.
Shout.
Thank you.
Broadcast live.